Alright, here we go. Alright, first little leg day post-workouts has been completed. So now, time to head home and just absolutely gorge on my last 300 calories that I have for the day. Now, some people may think, post-show, you must be eating like a king. You must have just really gone at it. And how does it feel to be eating like a normal person again? I wouldn't know. Because since post-show, food has been really interesting, to put it mildly. What ended up happening, so we did the show and stuff, and of course, your boy gorged, and my hair, oh no, it looks so bad, but of course, your boy gorged. We just absolutely went ham at IHOP, of all places, I think, people iconically, and, more often than not, post-show, Crumble is the big thing. I don't know how Crumble became such a kind of bodybuilding, fitness-oriented cookie place, but, go them. They have their audience, but I decided to head to IHOP. Now, why? Because for $5, unlimited pancakes. And I put 9 of those suckers away, and along with that, I got myself one of their bacon jam burgers with a side of fries, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So, no mercy, that was easily over 2,000 calories that I put down post-show. And I felt it, and it was rough. I also I just let myself eat whatever my heart desired that day. I said, screw it, we go ham. And, that's okay. Post-show, obviously, depending on the level you're competing, that, the binge eating after the fact is not what you want to be doing. But, it had been a little bit, I don't plan on competing anytime soon, so it's okay, we'll deal with it, whatever. Then the next day happens, and we're still playing a little bit loose and wild, whatever. It's, just one day after show, what's the worst that can happen? Pshaw. And then, that's what, okay. And then the last day, Monday happens, and I do it kind of one more time. One last hurrah, and then I kind of suck it up. And the thing is, 2 days after my show and stuff, I kind of feeling oh man, my legs feel fat. When you get a sunburn, how your skin kind of feels tight. I ended up feeling that around my legs, and I was oh my gosh, it shouldn't feel like that. And then I look down, and I take a look at my legs, and I'm these suckers are fat. And yes, what had happened was I put on weight so fast. I really fattened up, to put it mildly, because I think day of show, my stage weight, I couldn't weigh it directly before, but I would presume between 148 to 149 pounds. And that was on Saturday, afternoon. Monday night, I weighed in at 166 pounds. So, I kind of discovered that I cannot let myself binge after a show. So, lesson learned, don't do that. And what really got me off guard is my calves were cramping. The sudden onslaught of weight that my calves had to deal with, it was just painful. Anytime I'd go to walk and kind of really lift my push my calf up and stuff, I felt like I was about to cramp at any given moment. And oh my gosh, it was just awful. And then Tuesday happened. I'm okay, we gotta lock in, we can't do it. And also I had a cross meet I was coaching at, so khakis and a t-shirt, I was sprinting around. Because one, I know before I started bulk, I have to lose this weight that I just threw on, because I'm not starting a bulk at 166 after being in the 140s. I think a good weight I want to kind of try to get to, as far as with fat and everything, I will be happy in the 150s. I'm thinking around 153, 154 will be a nice starting point. Will be the leanest I've ever been, obviously not, but it's definitely very doable. And honestly, I look back at some photos of me when I was 150 during prep. I'm not sure what it was, probably because of my muscle mass and my height. The 150s were just so full, and so nice. So the goal is we're gonna hope to recreate that, and I'm gonna do a little camera shift while watching the road, because even though I'm glancing off at the camera, you should never fully stare at this sucker for too long, especially when you're driving. So note to self for those of you who do these car vid things. But yeah, so I'm hyped. Honestly, also, in comparison to prep, like this weight loss post-show thing, light work, such light work. Because the thing is, like, my body put on the weight so fast, and now it's like it needs extra calories to keep going. And I'm so used to eating so little that, like, kind of returning back to a deficit after like 2.5 days of binge eating, it's nothing. Like, I'm already back down to 158, and it is, what is it, Thursday? Yes, and it is like Thursday evening. And I'm probably gonna wake up tomorrow, I'd imagine around I'm hoping 156. And then honestly, I think by the time Sunday rolls around, I should be very well, at least around 154. So it's like, whatever. Honestly, part of me, I think it's kind of cool because it's just like a little testament, like, you know, depending on your situation, if you find yourself, you know, in a moment of weakness, maybe you do binge, you can cut the weight. Like, you know, the best part, well, not the best part, I don't think there's nothing really inherently good about binge eating inherent. I just, holy smokes, when I talk, I sometimes have words that I really like using a lot. Verbal tics, if you would. It's just stuff that, you know, rolls off the tongue. And I've gone through many phases. If you ask my girlfriend, she will tell you a couple of them. Like, peachy is one that I had for a little bit. And whatnot was a popular phrase that I used a little bit. But anyway, back to weight loss and binge eating. So if you have like a couple days off, you can very easily get back to where you were. Mind you, do I want to be back in the 140s? Yeah, not inherently. But the thing is, you know, my carb intake has still been significantly higher than what it was when I was on prep. So if I could like somehow get myself back down there while still, like, while having carbs in my system, theoretically, maybe I can get, I don't know, be leaner and fuller or something and see how that looks, but it's probably not happening right now. So we're just shooting for those low 150s. And then from there, you know, we have a reverse dieting. So the binge eatings have happened kind of in a little bit of a lull period where I didn't necessarily have a weekly plan from my coach. So I wasn't necessarily sure what I was supposed to be eating. So my brain's like, screw it, we eat whatever we want. So that was very dumb on my part. Luckily, my coach, he gets it. I tell him about it, and he goes like, yeah, man, that'll happen post-show. And now it's like I know what to expect. So I think next time I do a show, which will be probably a couple years down the line, I'm gonna like prep some meals that like have the volume and stuff that I want. Healthier meals, because like what I ended up binging on was stuff like corn pops, stromboli, and just a bunch of other stuff you probably shouldn't be gorging on, especially, you know, right when your body's like it's most sensitive to an influx of carbs and, you know, liquids. So yeah, interesting stuff right there. But yeah, I am overall very excited to bulk up again, because like I said, when I was looking at photos of me back when I was like 150 something, oh, just amazing. The fullness, oh my gosh, I miss it. And if I can maintain that kind of fullness that I had in the 150s, that same kind of, you know, body fat percentage-ish, obviously I'm going to get fluffier as we go. But, you know, 150, I would like, so I don't know what my coach will want me to do, but, you know, in my head, after, you know, doing some studies on bulks, you know, we're going into October here shortly, and by the time I think October hits, at least maybe after that first week, I should be up to at least maybe maintenance calories. I don't know just yet. So considering that, maybe bulk, well, if you can have the bulk happen in October, bulk October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, probably bulk up to May, maybe with like a mini cut or two in between there, because that'll give me a solid 8 months, maybe even bulk through June. We'll see what happens there, to get it up to 9, because that way I can cut during the summer and stuff like that, because admittedly, you know, I just did a whole freaking cut this summer. My entire summer was a cut. You know how sad it is to go through the entirety of summer and not be able to really stop at an ice cream store? Dude, it sucked, because my cut started in May, and it went all the way up until September 14th. So, all the fun stuff you can do in the summer, all the little sweet treats outside, all the frozen stuff, your boy got none of it, and it was very muy depresso. But on the bright side, by playing it that way, I now get to start my bulk in the season of pumpkin spice, which I think is a big old win. I love pumpkin stuff. And also, from my cuts, I got very creative with different ways on how to prep my meals and kind of mix and match, like the 6 different foods I was allowed to eat. So I'm excited to kind of use my new culinary expertise, we'll put in quotations, to make some fun stuff. Also, I've like over 500 videos saved on different, like, high protein, like macro friendly little treats and stuff, and I also have a lot of un-macro friendly foods that I wouldn't mind indulging in a little bit, and also just kind of making them maybe a bit more macro friendly. Especially now that I have this new mic that actually is not complete booty. The plan is, on my YouTube channel, I made 3 videos this summer, then I just kind of dropped it because I got very busy with life. So I think I'm going to try to maybe dip my toe in the whole culinary scene and like do some baking and stuff. But so a guy I've been watching a lot of is Tasting History with Max Miller. Phenomenal stuff. You should watch it. Someone who loves food and history, it's just so entertaining, and he's just such a good content creator. I'm gonna try to maybe do my own spin on that, where my name is already Gingerbread. It kind of gives like a baking, cooking thing on face level. Plus, being the whole breadhead guy I am. So the plan is maybe do some like favorite meals or like homemade meals, a famous bodybuilder kind of deal, and then talk of stories of bodybuilding, talk of different, sciencey things maybe, and like discuss different controversies, myths, legends, and stuff, while making macro-friendly and overall high-protein meals. Or even just making whatever the heck I want. Because, I think that could be some fun content. It would require me to, kind of consider editing a bit more and kind of help me hone my skills. And, along with that, I need to start doing more of these kind of long-form car vlog things. Because, screw it. If we're going to do car, vlogs, I'm copy Sam, kind of. My vibe is definitely very different than what he has going on. Just because, we live 2 very different lives. And, you'll see people do what I'm doing, then be called, oh, you're a Sam ripoff, But the thing is, it's mind you, there are definitely people trying to copy Sam and just, leech off the success of his format, but it's as long as you can find your own little kind of vibe, your own little spin of things, I don't really see an issue with just doing these car talks. I mean, Rich Piana started him, God rest his soul, up in, hopefully, the big old gym in the sky. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do these more. I think they're fun, kind of therapeutic. I don't really get to talk to a lot of people about gym stuff, just because that's not, I don't have too many friends. You didn't hear it from me. But contrary to my bubbly, contrary to my bubbly demeanor and upbeat personality, I don't really like hanging out with people too much, unless it's my girlfriend or people that I know vibe with me. It's just the average gym bro is just not my typical person, which I think that's completely fine. You're allowed to be a solid lifter and not be a basic gym bro. Matter of fact, from my experience, it's, I think, something that can be preferred by a lot of people. Because, I go to the gym, and I have a physique that at times it will be, impressive looking, and guys will be like, dude, you look great, and, they'll start chatting with me. And it's nice, and there are definitely some people in the gym where it's okay, I like you, you kind of get it. But then when you get, the more meathead-esque guys, once again, it's not a bad thing that they're that way, it's just not the kind of person I really vibe with. When I talk gym, I like talking about science, I like talking about the sport of stuff. I'm not really big into, the social media things. I used to think David Lade and, Jeff Seed were the same guy for the longest time. Because I just don't, I don't really care about, I guess, the superficial aspects of bodybuilding, which is very, kind of a double-edged statement, per se, because bodybuilding is incredibly superficial, but I'm talking the social media aspects. Well, I think it's cool, and I've definitely followed plenty of social media based bodybuilders and people who have a high, well, not a high, but a lot of social media presence. It's I don't know. I like watching the people who take the sport seriously and will actually, admire it for what it is and not, like, take advantage of what bodybuilding is, Because, like, people like Eubank, people like, your David Lade, your Jeff Seed, and folks like that, it's very much like a self-interest kind of thing. And obviously, they've done wonders for helping people through their content. Like, people seeing them have inspired plenty of young men and plenty of young women and plenty of young everyone to kind of, hit the gym and go to be their best selves, which is great. But you cannot tell me that they started, not out of vain. And, well, that's fine. And, like, good things can come out of maybe, like, not the cleanest of intentions. It's just not the stuff I enjoy, and that's completely fine. Like, people like their own stuff. I don't really like that. So, yeah, and then also I just need to get back to posting more on TikTok. Becoming a substitute teacher has kind of really hindered that, just for the fact it's like, I'm so busy. My days are, like, completely full. And at least for now, you will not catch me even trying to film a TikTok in the teacher's lounge. Because, like, I don't want someone to walk in, because it's like, even though I'm an employee and stuff that's completely allowed, I am still 20, and the rest of, I guess I can call them my co-workers, because I'm, like, a long-term sub, so I'm, like, always in the building. They are still, like, a solid 20 years older than me, so the generational gap is very much there. Luckily, I mean, I got, the female high school coach. She's in the building. She's only, I think, probably maybe like 6 years older than me, 4 years older, 5 years older, something like that. So at least me and her can vibe and stuff like that and all that stuff. And she lets me use her room to begin my cross practices and stuff. But yeah, with that, I'm home. I have some food I get to eat, and then probably gonna hop on. I already ran a cross practice, but I'm just so dead set on losing as much weight as I can before my check-in, because I just want, like, next week to be a lot more of a solid week for me starting off, and not with cankles. So yeah, we're gonna head in, eat, do some work, have a good time. Hasta la pasta, guys.